Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, my camera is a little lower than I expected. Welcome to episode 63 of Unmuted. Thank you guys. Let me creep in here. If you're only listening to the audio, never mind. But if you're watching the video, welcome to the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is episode 63. Ignore what that says. We'll figure that out later. I'll change it right away. But today we have HamiVlogs on the show. He's a content creator based in the UAE, and we've crossed paths in the past before, but we never actually sat down and had any conversation. So I'm very excited to get to know him a little better. So hit the intro.
Yay!
Hamid, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. That's amazing. I love that.
Thank you. That's actually my band, this Bengali. That's a clip from one of the songs where the lyric was "Welcome to the show," but a complete fluke way before I did this podcast.
No way.
And then I started saying "Welcome to the show" on the show, and my guitarist Jam was like, "Why don't you just use the song where you have
Awesome.
"Welcome to the show" as a lyric?"
No issues with copyright either, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Flag myself.
Brilliant, man.
How's
you
it
so
been,
much,
man?
Hami. It's been good, man. It's been good. I mean, honestly, you know how season's been so far.
Yeah.
Ever since March, things have been different. But if I have to say, unfortunately or fortunately, that's pretty much my tag. But it's been quite a positive one, just not COVID-19 positive. Bad joke, but yeah.
Too soon, bro.
It's been a positive one. There's been a lot of learning, a lot of self-realization, and it's been immense. I mean, emotional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So just to bring it back, for those that might not know, could you introduce yourself to the tribe and just give them a
Sure.
little bit of an intro to yourself while I change that episode number?
Sure, man. So just to start with, born and raised in the UAE, been let's say living the life in the UAE as well as a kid. I usually say that most of us who born here are basically half Emirati.
Yeah.
Just that we don't speak the language as
Yeah,
much.
100%.
It's always as Mazboot, and then at the end of the day, it's like Habibi, 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 and then that's it, But then overall, I think just to give you a bit of an intro, myself, profession, digital marketing. I've been doing it for 13 years. Apart from that, got into content creation about 2.5, 3 years back.
Yeah. Actually, your first vlog was 2 years ago in 5 days.
Oh, wow.
September 27th.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I mean,
So 2 years to the dot.
Exactly, man. That's wow. Yeah, so that's something that's really close to my heart because it just started off that way with content creation. Sitting in the office, took an iPhone and reviewed another iPhone. So
Yeah.
that was my first vlog. But then apart from that, in terms of my life, I've been a professional dancer for almost 18 years of my life. Got into keyboards, got into music, moved on into corporate life.
Mm-hmm.
And just before that, when I was 15, I started working at a mobile shop. It's illegal not to work before 18. But then, yeah, I mean, for me, it was all about hustling.
Yeah.
And that was something that changed my life because that's a lot of story. I mean, honestly, it's something that always takes me back to my roots, and I feel really emotional about it. But then, yeah, this is me in a nutshell, and I love the color green.
Yeah. So the craziest thing for me is we'll dive into a little bit of each of those things in just a bit. But one of the first times I met you, we hit each other up on Instagram. I actually have seen your logo on the sticker on the back of a car way before I actually knew who you were. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool. Someone who vlogs is like advertising the vlog. That's actually pretty smart. That works. And I remember the logo because of the green glasses.
Yeah.
And then when we met, and I was like, damn, that's the guy with a truck, the sticker on the back. That's that guy. So yeah, that was the first.
Is it that logo there on that mobile?
Yes, it's everywhere. It's on. So this is what I want to get into: digital marketing. You seem to have like your brand on point.
Yeah.
Is that something you planned, or is it just does it like come a little more natural to you?
Honestly, I have a bit of an OCD, right? When it comes to digital marketing or when it comes to marketing in specific, it's all about having the right logo, having the right brand identity and stuff like that. Of course, I'm not going to write a brand guideline for myself because I just want to do something cool. The thing just started off this way that I got into the space of influencer marketing, proposing that to brands. And I was like, you know what? If I'm proposing that to brands, I really need to know myself what comes out of it. How long does it take a content creator to create reviews, text, stuff, things like that? And that's how that dive happened. Took an iPhone, reviewed it on another iPhone, edited it on iMovie, uploaded it.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, I was offered a TV show.
Wow.
Right. And I was like, I've not even touched, let's say, 90 subscribers. And I was like, already a TV show. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Let's manage work and time at the same time. And then I was like, this needs an identity. And of course, I always wore the green specs. I have 8 of these, just in case my son decides to break one. But then that's how important it is to really live the brand, because I can't think about wearing another specs.
Yeah.
And this has been something that, HamiVlogs has been all about, is green. It's the logo on the truck. It's a truck by itself. It's the desert, and it is all about creating videos that really mean something to me and not necessarily to other people. Because when I got into content creation, it was all about creating meaningful videos and something that I want to look, inshallah, when I get older, put up the YouTube, watch my videos and like, see, son, I used to do this.
Yeah.
It's just about that and reminiscing that. So yes, I think from a brand perspective, it was all about creating top of mind, how the green resonates with the person, how it resonates with me. And honestly, there was a vlog that I did with the green shake. And he was like, damn, dude, you're living green. I'm like, but you're known as a green shake, and that's something that really got to me. And I was like, you know what, you just got to stick to the brand, because if you can't wear your own branded t-shirt, you really can't stand your brand anymore.
100%.
So 100%. This is something that I believe in. And I used to make t-shirts, by the way.
Okay, so so you worked at a mobile shop. That's how you fell in love with tech.
Exactly.
You used to make t-shirts?
I used to make t-shirts. So
design them, or like manufacture t-shirts?
Manufacture and design. So we used to, there was an option for me to do my master's, and I was like, I'm not going to spend that money for education.
Yeah. Don't say that out loud.
This was giving that glare. But yeah, I mean, master's in a random category just for the heck of it. But yeah, I mean, I was like, got a couple of friends, like-minded guys, sat down together. I'm like, what do you think? And they were like, let's make t-shirts. And I was like, wow, I love t-shirts. And we're like, let's make the most unique t-shirt for a person in the world. And I was like, that's an amazing USP. So yeah, we started tzar.com, which is basically T-shirt Bazaar. Unfortunately, it turned into a porn site for quite some time, because ever since we stopped the business, a Chinese company took over.
Oh, they bought the domain name?
They bought the domain name, and then they started trying to extort money out of us. And we're like, yeah, we're not bothered. We closed down the business.
What? How? Okay, there's so much to unpack here. Let's go back to the Chinese company trying to blackmail you into...
Yeah.
So how did you guys get contacted?
I don't know. Just they picked us up from Whois probably, and dropped us an email saying that we've taken over the domain. If you need it, pay us money. And we're like not bothered, honestly.
Yeah.
Of course, it does look bad when you've got tzar.com on a CV, but then we always had a rationale to it. And anyways, most of the other partners were all working. And like I said, we didn't want to do masters. Yeah. At least I didn't want to. And I thought this was the brilliant break for me to explore into being an entrepreneur. And it was quite a learning, honestly. Overall, in the sense of t-shirt business, when you get into it, or when you get into any business, the most important thing is dedication, and it just can't come one way. So that was one of the reasons why it did fall apart. Not from my side, but then this is what it is in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's amazing. So was this before digital marketing came into the picture? Like, were you full-time digital marketing?
So I started digital marketing when I was about 18 and a half, 19 years old. I started off just randomly looking at what Emirates.com was doing, because I was working with Emirates at that time. Yeah. I was an office boy. Started off as an advertising assistant, very fancy role, but yeah, pretty much office boy. Making coffee for people and understanding exactly what happens in the corporate world. Wearing a t-shirt, a tie, and just looking at people being different. So yeah, I mean, there were 118 women and just 10 guys in that department.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, this is culture shock for me.
Yeah.
So while getting to learn about how things happen in the corporate world, I also managed to get my eyes on a media plan. And I was like, this looks interesting. What's it all about? And then I figured out how media works, did a small diploma in advertising and media. And then the next thing I know, I was like, let's do digital marketing. And I started something called D-Gurus, unofficially, which never existed, but now it's a recruitment company. I don't own it. But I basically used to get in touch with people who worked for Google and Facebook and got them on board saying that, hey, I'll go and get business, you'll execute, implement, and then we share the commission. And that was my first of my journey into the entrepreneurship world.
So it seems like it was embedded in you. It wasn't like, oh, I have this one specific idea. It was more of a Jeff Bezos, just shoot as many as you possibly can, and maybe one will strike kind of approach, right?
Exactly, that was the whole point. I mean, for me, at the age of 18, I was dealing with paying up for education, university and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what, just pick up something and do it. Emirates Airlines was that break, and it was a temporary position for about 2 years. And I was like, perfect. Let me just do this 7 to 3:30 job, head back, night college, kept my bachelor's. Just get done with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That hustle and that drive it isn't around a lot of people.
It isn't. And something that really happened to me, like I said, at the age of 15, when I got into that mobile shop, it was a shop-in-shop concept where I went to the owner. I was like, I'm going to take this side of the shop, okay, just for 4 hours. And I'm going to deal with all the customers who come in, give them new softwares. The 3310 that had the No Fear logo?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I did that. And since I loved music, I used to make Mission Impossible ringtones and all those stuff, right? 8210s, Nokias, right? And then,
oh, man, I forgot about you used to be able to write the MIDI.
Exactly. And B flat and all that stuff. Oh, wow. Man, that was insane.
I actually forgot about that.
So I used to make those ringtones and send it out to guys. And over a period of time, I actually picked up Misr. So I used to speak fluent Egyptian at some point of my time.
Wow.
Till I joined Emirates, because everything was all about English. And overall, I think from there, when I got to know that I could make money, I started doing 3 jobs at one time. So I started doing data entry in the morning at a publishing house. In the afternoon, I would work as an accountant, let's just say that, and then at a construction company.
Okay.
And in the night was main thing, the tech happening at the mobile shop. And this was all happening while I would do shows over the weekend, because I was a professional dancer then.
Yeah.
So I would get paid for dancing as well. So, performing.
So where does that drive come from?
I think it's a bit from my parents, because at one point in time, I just wanted to, get away from the world for some reason. Get away from people who I knew. Not for anything bad, but it's just that I just wanted to create my own world. And that's what actually got me into venturing out into this. And after a period of time, I got to know that, this world looks amazing, because I'm performing over the weekend with people I know, a different set of people, mobile shop, different set of people, accountants, you're meeting with laborers, having breakfast with them, different set of people. And that was like, this is networking. Yeah. And I was like, let's do this. So friends did happen, but it's just that after friends was this whole big network of people aged way between, I would say 30 all the way to 65.
Yeah.
And I have friends now who are 60 and 65 and they have kids my age. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, your dad's my friend, So that it's actually, I think that's what actually drove me. So my parents and
that kind of stuff really, it expands your vocabulary and approach to the world in general. Once you've experienced hanging out in different environments with different kinds of people, and the way you have to kind of cater the way you speak to, even if it's the same message to different people, just make sure that everyone kind of understands you and everyone is willing to work, and motivating someone, in the construction world is very different to motivating someone as an accountant. And I think that kind of experience really builds this world culture, right? You can't get that anywhere else. But was there a plan? Was it a planned thought? I need to experience as much as I can right now, or was it just let me just hustle as hard as I can while I still can do it?
It's just hustle as much as I can, is what I could do it, because at that point in time, I didn't really have a plan. I think things just happen. Yes, you can always have a plan for things, but honestly, for me, it was just random. Music, dancing, getting into content creation, getting into digital marketing. Everything just happened randomly. But what happened specifically was I did everything with a passion.
Yeah.
And hence it never died in me. I mean, of course, I had to give up dancing because I had a ligament tear on my right ankle. But overall, it was something that I loved doing. And when you start doing something that you love, you really aren't bothered about the time. You really aren't bothered about the effort that goes in, because you know that this is hard work that's going to pay off.
Yeah.
Pay off for your happiness.
100%.
That's what I believe in.
That I always chuckle when I say it, but if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, which I think is such a cheesy way to say it. It's such a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. Because if you're enjoying it, if this is what you do for fun anyway, and someone happens to pay you, it's one of the coolest fucking things in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's talk about dancing. How did you get into dancing? When was this?
So when I was growing up in school, I was really not the outspoken kid. I would be the guy who was shy, but I would be the guy at the auditorium saying the prayer, and they were like, yeah, we need this guy. Let him say the prayer on the auditorium. So one way or the other, I think I was dealing with stage fear. And after a period of time, I was like, there's something that has to get me out of this. Because the moment I would go on stage, I would start shivering, and of course, before saying the prayer at the auditorium, I would usually be playing basketball. So of course I'm like sweating. And then after I put cold water on myself, get myself back to normal, make sure that the shirt's tucked in, the ties properly, just to make sure you're in the auditorium and you look neat when the headmaster and the principal's passing by. Right?
Yeah.
And then after a period of time, you're like, okay, I'm shivering now. How do I do this? And you just get that kind of an attack. So I think it was probably stage fear at that point in time. And dancing actually was like helping me get out of it. So it was more like therapy for me. And I was paying for dance classes. And after playing for dance classes for a period of time, after a while, it just got into having my own dance group and being part of another dance group as well. So how you have it in bands, you basically switch bands, or you basically have your own band.
I was just about to ask, is dancing more of a group? Like I know there are groups and stuff, but is it mentally, is it generally looked at as a group activity?
Primarily as a group activity, because there's also solo stuff that goes on, but that's only during competitions.
Yeah.
When you're having performances on stage, it looks amazing. Like if you see Britain's Got Talent, so you can dance, whatever, you see any of these episodes, when you see this bunch of Indian guys on stage, you're like, whoa, right? And especially for the Punjabi, man, that's killing, right? So it's the energy that it brings. So I think the group performances bring a lot of energy to it, and that actually helped me out big time to get over stage fear at one point of my life. And overall, keeping in mind the kind of kid that I was, not really outspoken, to becoming something that a guy with long hair, man bun before man bun was even invented as a word, just doing his own thing. That was me. That was something that gave me that confidence to actually walk out there and speak to people.
That's awesome. Yeah. I as someone who now goes on stage a whole bunch, I had stage fright like crazy when I was a kid, and I never. Even cameras, anything like that, I never wanted to be the guy in front of any of that stuff. I was just the guy behind it. I'm always the guy behind the scenes. I'm the guy that's, even with bands back in the day, I'd be the guy filming their vlogs, doing their things. And then, I don't know what happened. It was kind of similar to what you were talking about. Like, well, if I can't do that, why not? I've already learned everything I need to learn about the front of the camera stuff.
Exactly.
And I don't know how I got over the stage fright. I can't pinpoint it to one thing.
If I think what must have happened, of course it's assumption, I hate assuming, but just trying it out, is that when you build your own world on stage and when you're performing, you have this adrenaline rush. Yeah. Right? You have this X factor at that point of time that really gets over you, and you're just like, oh, I have to hit that note, oh, the beat's gonna drop, and then you're just occupied thinking about that you forget about this is what I think.
I think on stage, for me, it's just a massive connection with the people, because we really engage with the crowd. I give the microphone 90% of the song, is them singing. So
Nice.
it's there's a lot of engagement, and I think that kind of like like you said, it's our own little world. No one can fuck with us here.
Exactly. That's right.
And like it's just a group of misfits that we understand what we're doing, kind of thing.
Exactly. And and honestly, at one point of time in my life, when I saw people around me, they would be like, oh, that kid, he just goes dancing, and I'm like, like for me, it's a bigger deal.
Yeah.
But when you hear something like that, and when you know that, okay, fine, you know what, I'm doing my thing. I know what's happening in my world. It's fine. I'm not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it.
Did you ever get any shit from like culturally or anything in terms of like school kids bullying, any of that stuff because of the dancing, or was it cool to be in dance groups when you were growing up?
So, I mean, in terms of bullying as such, not really. Of course, there used to be a lot of, play thing happening, or just, making fun happening. I just got to know the word bullying recently. Mm-hmm. So probably it was bullying, I don't know. But then, at that point in time, it never felt like it.
Yeah.
Anything that happened.
It wasn't
it wasn't
drastic effect.
Yeah, it wasn't drastic effect. But then something that happened specifically in my life during school was I flunked my 10th grade. And that was something that took over more than anything else. Mm-hmm. But then that's a story for sometime later. But yeah, this is something that I think that it wasn't bullying as such. But then culturally, my dad, his family comes from a very conservative Muslim family, and my mom's Christian, right? So I've got the best of both worlds. And the plus point for me at that point was when my relatives from Kerala, that's when my dad's from Kerala, they used to call up and say, "Hey, we saw your son on TV." And I was like, wow. I thought there would be something, a ripple effect or something of that sort. But then everyone just took it positively, and I guess I was blessed that way.
That's really cool. Really cool. And the best of both worlds is also something, such a unique perspective that a lot of people from this side of the planet don't get to experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, culturally, it's such a hard thing for our generation specifically. Like, our kids are going to be okay because we've experienced but our generation growing up with our parents' generation, it was always like very difficult to kind of explain art to a lot of people, or even to this day, like my parents would, or my dad specifically would be like, "I'm not 100% sure what you do." Like, it's like you make, the only time he really, and I've said this on the podcast before, he really figured out what I did was when he saw my name in the credits of a Nat Geo film.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, "Oh, so this is what you do." And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "But do more." Yeah. I'm like, no, this is the channel you watch, but I've been doing it for everything else.
Oh, mashallah. That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
But yeah, they couldn't like fully understand it.
I call it the pager effect. The reason why I call it is because I don't know if you remember the pages.
I remember the
pages exactly. So you got the pager, and then the mobile happened, right? And the pager really did not be there for a long time.
Yeah.
Because by the time the pager got really trendy, the mobile came out.
Yeah.
And
I remember the pager on one side and the cell phone on the other.
Oh yeah.
So someone would page you and then you'd call them. I was like,
exactly. Exactly, right? And then it took some time for people to realize that, the pager was useless at that point of time. And this is what exactly our generation went through. I think we had that kind of a gap where we realized that, oh, this could have happened this way, but now things are happening the other way. And, oh, does it really affect my culture? So those are the questions that people used to ask. Yeah. And I think people were wired to actually think that way. Our generation kind of turned out to be a little rebellious compared to what earlier used to be. And I think it's just going to keep happening the way forward.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to try unwiring themselves. And we're all part of the system, right? And when you go to school, when you go to university, at one point in time, you've been put to this thing that you need to limit yourself.
Yeah.
Like, for example, get a driving license when you're 18. I remember buying my car when I was 16 and a half before I got my driving license. So yeah. Of course, I didn't drive it.
There must be a statute of limitations if you guys are listening to this.
Exactly. So, and then after that, you move on to, you need to get yourself a job when you're 18, or else you're gonna lose your visa. So all those age brackets and all of that puts a lot of pressure on a person.
Yeah.
And then you probably when you put a lot of pressure, you either become something good or something bad. Depends on your choice. What do you choose, right? And what other people look at it. So yeah, I think that's what added the pressure towards that point of time to becoming into something that I really like. And as long as you don't hurt anyone, you're good.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you consider yourself do you say digital marketer and content creator, or do you say just content creator?
I say digital marketer and content creator because digital marketing, of course, has 13 years of my life.
Yeah.
Content creation, on the other hand, just started recently, and it's not something that I've really, been like others in the sense, if I have to give you an example, I'm not going to lose money if I don't post that up.
Yeah.
Okay, I might lose that brand, but that brand really, if that brand really wants to be with me, it'll be with me.
Yeah.
So I've never been that hardcore content creator who'd be really principled with the brands. I've been very free living in the sense I have a free soul. If I don't have a liking towards a particular product, I say it.
Yeah.
If I don't have a liking towards a particular feature, I say it. I don't like scripts. I hate scripts for some reason. I can't read. So all my vlogs actually don't have a script.
Yeah.
I've never scripted anything. I always try and be as open as I can be, and I just try and be as sincere I can be in front of the camera. So the moment I hit that record button on the camera, that's it. That's just me speaking from my heart.
So how did it go from the iPhone review to there's a brand that wants me to do something for them, or I'm covering this event, or how does that switch happen for you?
So the plus point about being in digital marketing was that I made friends with a lot of publicators and going on. So a lot of publications. Publications out there were like, cool, what's happening? You're doing videos. I'm like, yeah, I just thought of it. And, so like, okay, cool. The next one, probably we might just feature you. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And those conversations led to something. And then, like I said, when I was on my, I think 96th subscriber or something of that sort, I got a call from one of these TV stations asking me, saying that, hey, would you like to be an anchor? And I was like, okay, paid gig. They're like, nah. I'm like, okay, fine. Let's just do this. And I was like, but I need 100% control over the content that's created. And they're like, yeah, sure, it's yours. We just need you to fill up the space. I'm like, okay, cool. So I got a 25-minute segment on
That's
a TV
amazing.
show. Yeah. And again, no script. I was like, no script, no makeup. I can't put freaking makeup in front of the camera, man.
I don't know. For those that are watching the video, both of us have a lot of makeup on.
Oh, yeah.
It's very obvious.
My foundation's coming off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, these are things that I like. I don't know why, but I just feel like, it's not necessary for me to have makeup in front of the camera. Probably people want me look more presentable, but this is me. The show is me, so deal with it. Take me how I am. And yeah, this guy with beard just going on in front of the camera, holding mobile, saying, "Hey, this is good, but this is bad." That's what led to me doing shoots on a weekly basis. And at one point in time, I remember I was like doing shoots almost every single day.
Yeah.
So I completed over 69 episodes, all shot and just ready to go out. And I was like, wow. So I was shooting actually one episode go live, the other episode being shot. That episode would go live, and then after it's like, this is too hectic. Let's do 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then brands got to know, and they were like, okay, can we give you a mobile? I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, but I'll give you the mobile back because I just don't want to keep it. And they were like, but why? I was like, nah, I just don't want to keep it. I want to be true, honest to the review, and then you guys can keep the mobile back,
Yeah.
And there was no COVID then, so things worked out well, So yeah, I mean, any product that I got, I would return it back, and it was a good habit, and people loved dealing with me. I think at that point of time, influencer marketing had gone to a really different level, where everyone was like all ripoffs, like going to the restaurant. Hey, I've got 1 million followers. Okay, you get 50% discount, 100% discount. I don't know. That's the kind of world that we started living in.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I was destroying that world with like, hey, here you go. Thank you for the mobile. I hope I packed it well. Things like that.
Yeah.
So it's all about that. And then at one point in time, I was like, you know what? This is it. Let's start doing giveaways. If they want to give me the mobile, let's just give it away to the audience. So yeah, so I started doing that. And then that really got me some kind of, boost. And I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Basically investing it back into the channel.
Exactly.
That's one of the things I don't know why I know this, but I was watching this thing. There's this massive channel called Mr. Beast. Everyone knows Mr. Beast, but he was talking to Casey Neistat,
yes,
another amazing YouTuber,
yeah, I love
about how he exploded on the internet. And he said anytime anyone wanted to pay me, I'd say double it, and I'll give all that money away. And that's how the big start of his channel is giving, tipping waitresses $1,000 and all that stuff. And he started giving away to the audience, and he started giving away, and he never kept anything for himself for the first 3 years. And that expansion, like that giveaway and the virality of it and all that stuff made him Mr. Beast. And he's on 40 million subscribers right now. One
thing I know about Casey Neistat is that at that point of time, I mean, of course, going away from Mr. Beast though, but then Casey Neistat was the guy.
He's still a dude. He just started doing daily vlogs again.
Exactly.
And the internet, I lost my shit. I was like, I have alarms ready. I want to watch everything.
Exactly, right? Like he took a break.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And I at one point in time when I stopped making vlogs, and I was like, you know what? I'm losing my shit. I need to spend my time with my wife, my kids, be a father, And I was like, it's too difficult to manage at the same time, because most of my time, right now, I can tell you, I have over 23 vlogs that are waiting to be edited since last year.
Wow.
So I remember reviewing the Ford Raptor last year, and I still haven't released the video out.
I saw the post on Instagram.
Exactly.
I remember the photo.
Yeah. So I took that on the drone. So I have multiple footages, and that's Casey Neistat for you, right? So he's got angle from the skateboard, angle from the drone, angle from this, and he's just one guy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if he can do it, why can't I?
Yeah.
So I picked up a drone, picked up a camera. So like you have those cameras lined up there. I told you I have 13 cameras.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Now how do I manage all of this footage?
Those are just there for decoration. That's my very first vlog camera.
Oh, nice.
And the big one's the first documentary I ever shot was on that one. Wow. But those are both HDV tape cameras. These are old school. They're just there for decoration. The only cameras I have physically are the two we're filming with.
Nice. So even the 360.
The 360 is just it was an impulse buy. It was.
Don't worry, I have two of them.
Yeah, I might have taken 3 photos with it.
Oh my god, yeah. I actually shot some of my vlogs on that, and then I realized that damn, this camera can overheat.
Yeah,
you know, because I was shooting in 4K for some ridiculous reason. Then I realized that 1080p is just enough.
Yeah, no, I'm see, this is my issue is a lot of people think I'm a tech guy,
okay,
or a equipment guy in general, but I'm really shit at it. The only reason I have the Lumix GH5, for those that are watching the video, it's the wide angle camera that we have here that I've shot all the videos with Khalid with. I shot all my vlogs from 2018 up until now with a bunch of documentaries with. The only reason I bought that is because when I first started working with Khalid, he had one, and I was like, "Oh, that looks cooler than my Canon, whatever it was."
600D?
No, it was a Mark V.
Oh,
yeah. And the only reason I had that Mark V was because a friend of mine. I don't care about the equipment. I think you can vlog and you can tell stories with a phone just as well as the best, 50mm prime lens. I don't know any of that shit. For someone that makes videos for a living, I really genuinely don't care.
Wow.
I think you could say, and I got that philosophy, that same inspiration from Casey Neistat, is that if you have the equipment, use every single one of them, and if you don't, you can still make a vlog running with your iPhone.
Exactly.
And I have the patrons, all the vlogs on Patreon is just with the iPhone, and nice. I've never uploaded anything else. And they send me messages like, "Hey, what'd you shoot this with?" Fucking iPhone.
That's amazing, man. I mean, if I have to be honest, like I told you, first vlog happened the same way. Shot an iPhone.
Yeah.
Kids nowadays come to me asking me, "What do you shoot?" And I, of course, got the Canon G7X Mark II. I used to be a photographer at one point of my time, and at that point of time, I had the Canon 600D. So it would be the 1855, the 7600, 7000, depending on whichever lens I wanted. And I would look at them and be like, since you cannot carry a heavy camera, use your mobile.
Yeah.
And they were like, but it won't be clear. I'm like, shoot in the morning. Morning light's amazing. If you shoot in the afternoon, there might be a little bit of overexposure, but then best thing, shoot in the morning. They're like, yeah, why not? I'm like, brilliant. And then I know a kid and a few other kids as well who've been creating vlogs. I mean, they've bought gimbals for that matter. And I was like, man, if I was 10 or 12, I wouldn't be able to afford a gimbal. But
Yeah.
then, even parents are looking at investing into that. So I think that's like a future skill. But yeah,
But
you've really told me a good thing about being old school with those tapes, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just for me, it's just about the story. Like even if a kid, I gave a lecture at YouTube Space back, rest in peace, YouTube Space Dubai. Before it closed. We did this thing called the Next Up YouTubers. So they got a bunch of people, anyone that's like under 100K, to come down, do a couple of lessons that we taught them, some videography, some lighting, all that stuff. And during one of the sessions, someone was asking me like, man, if I don't get the right lens or if I don't get I'm like, what's the story? How long is your average video? 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And you want to upload every other day. Let's say twice a week. You need 3 minutes, 3 interesting minutes, twice a week. Forget how long it's going to take to put together. Even if it's increments of 10 interesting seconds that you string together into 3 interesting minutes, you can't find 3 interesting minutes in your 24 hours of living.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just story, not angles, not gimbals, not drones, just story. 3 interesting minutes in terms of story, compelling human to human interaction.
Yeah.
If you can find that, you can vlog.
Exactly. I mean, this brings me to Nas Daily. And Nas came down to Dubai recently, and I was on a call with him, Zoom call, and one of the plus points is this green thing actually manages to get me, a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with Nas over the call for almost, I think, 45 minutes while he was taking everyone for 60 seconds.
Is this the NAS Academy?
Yeah, the Nas
Okay,
Academy.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Nusayr.
So sorry, just for those that are listening and don't know what NAS or who NAS Daily is, he's a Facebook content creator that he's expanded from Facebook since then, but did daily 1-minute videos. And I'm pretty sure anyone that's had a Facebook account knows his face because it's been shared billions of times.
Yep.
But NAS Daily started doing the 1-minute videos, very similar to the way Khalid Al-Amri started back in the day. And then he started expanding into longer format once a week, I think. And then he did his NAS Daily Academy for content creators and stuff like that.
So that's what's happening right now. So he's got weekly content going on. But then, overall, what I'm trying to say is that story.
Yeah.
Story really matters. And you can shoot from anything. It just doesn't matter whether... during our time, sound too old, but you remember
back in my day.
You remember 3GP, .3GP? It was this format on the old mobiles.
Probably, I don't know. My brain is fried. I've done things to my brain that are reversible.
Okay, so at that point in time, I remember these really grainy, full of noise videos that would still go viral.
Mm-hmm.
So if those videos could go viral because they had some story, I'm sure anything can go viral.
So what was the NAS Daily?
So NAS, bringing it to NAS, I completely forgot about that. So NAS was taking guys up for 60 seconds, speaking to everyone, getting intros, and he was like, "Okay, man, I really like you. I want you to be on the call for like long, and just shoot ideas. What do I shoot?" And that's something that came to him. Was like, wow. So he actually traveled down to Dubai. Of course, got most of the media team online in the same call. But then he's also asking people what to shoot, and what you get your story from is from the local people.
Yeah.
Right. And I've been here all my life. And I was like telling him, "Oh, you should go visit Rainbow Sheikh. You should go to this person. You should go to that person." And he was like, "Man, how do you know so many things?" I'm like, "Well, I've been born and raised here." He's like, no wonder. And I was like, "Yeah." So now I was like, you know what I need to do? I need to go travel the world and ask local people, what's your story? And then I was like, I'll add that as a next edition. But then 2018, I lost my job and I was like, you know what? Traveling's not going to happen for quite some time. But then Nas asked me a really crucial question at that point in time, which I'm going to vlog about pretty soon, is that how much money do you have in your account? And I was like, got so many people. And I'm like thinking in my mind, I was like, I don't want to waste time. I was like, $300. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah. It's like, you stay in Dubai. I'm like, yeah. He's like, how do you manage? I'm like, well, hustle. I've got 2 kids. I got a wife. And we live in a beautiful apartment in JBC. And we still manage. He's like, wow. I just don't understand how this works. I'm like, yeah, well, that's a story for me to tell to the world. Yeah. So, you just have random stories that you have yourself that you never realize how important they can be. And, how you want to share that with the world. So, yeah. And ever since I was like, you know what? I'm going to start teaching people digital marketing. It's not some skill that I want to take with me to the grave. 13 years of crazy digital marketing has got me to some really cool tactics that I can share with people. So I've started teaching people online digital marketing.
Wow. Oh, so like over Zoom calls and stuff like that?
Yeah. And that's why I said COVID-19 has been positive just because of this, because I've actually been consulting some high-profile government individuals.
Yeah.
I've been training corporates, teams, basically team of 5, team of 8, helping people set up social media teams and set up digital marketing, departments.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what just happened? Right? From that $300 conversation, I just brought up some kind of adrenaline rush that turned me into this monster who just wants to create. So like you said, story, that story made me realize that having $300 in my account, staying in Dubai without a job for 2 years, how awesome is that? That's a story that I'm going to hold to my heart for the rest of my life.
Was it like a slap shock when he asked you on the call? Like, because in our regions, we don't discuss money.
Exactly. You don't ask a guy how much he makes.
Yeah.
And you don't ask a woman her age.
But I would like to break that. I think that's a very interesting and very educational for other people, especially people that are trying to get into the same fields we are.
Exactly. I mean, it's not something that you want to be completely transparent. Oh, here's my bank statement. No, it's just about realizing that, you spend a lot more than you have probably at some point in time. That's a problem. You need financial advice. That would be good. But I've never been a person who's into saving. I believe our life is short on this earth, and you just got to travel, look around, open your horizons. I mean, for me, honestly, having a Muslim dad and a Christian mom, that was just the tip of the iceberg. When I moved out to traveling the world and seeing what's happening around, that's when I realized that, there's so much going out and how you can really contribute to that in the form of stories. Yeah. So that's what really it's all about.
So at the core of it, the goal is to be a better storyteller, a wider audience storyteller, whether it's through digital marketing, whether it's through the vlogs, just reaching that human touch.
Exactly. And during this process, what happens is everyone wants to reach fame. Like, that was me clicking my finger, by the way, for those listening. But yeah, I mean, and then they get into this whole unethical way of promoting themselves. So, buying out followers, bots and all that stuff. And then, of course, doing a lot of fake giveaways. That is something that I really don't advise people. So
as a digital marketer, this is great because there's a lot of people listening to the podcast that are into content creation or want to start content creation, stuff like that. As both the content creator and the digital marketer, how destructive is something like buying Instagram likes and buying Facebook likes, and I don't know if you can buy YouTube subscribers.
You can.
Yeah, because from what I know, and I know a lot more from the content creation side. It's even if you have 20,000, but your engagement is like there's 40 likes on your post. No brand, you're not cheating anyone. No one's buying into this. So as a digital marketer, like, what would be your advice to these guys that are looking to I just want to get to 10K so I can get the swipe up button? Or
I mean, see, honestly, I'll tell you, it plays into your patience. As a human being, you really have to be patient, or you just got to wait for that one story that goes crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone needs that one story. It's not 3 stories. It's not 5 stories. You might be lucky with 5, might be lucky with 3, but it's always that one thing that gets the world's attention.
Yeah.
And the moment you get that, you get what you really need. But let it not be a numbers game. Let it not be, I need to have 5,000 followers, 50,000 followers, 1 million, 2 million. If you get there, you'd be happy. But if you get there unethically and you're trying to build yourself that way, well, honestly, you're just cheating yourself. This is what I think. Overall, it can also cause a lot of anxiety for people. My wife specifically, she would be like, oh, I just have 800 followers, and she creates amazing mommy content, right? And I'm like, you know what? Just leave it. She's like, oh, you know what? Instagram told me this post is performing 95% better than the previous post.
Let's boost it.
Promote it. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, just leave it. Just let it be. It'll happen eventually. And I know other people who are currently promoting this stuff. They've actually bought fake likes and they bought fake subscribers. So what's happened? The engagement rate's gone down to something like 0.000001, and probably they get 2 or 3 likes. And then what happens is that they put in more money to Instagram, promote it, and get up to 400 likes.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, oh, interesting. But then what happens is that as a person who sees and understands and sees through that bullshit, I see big brands tying up with them and giving them loads and loads of money.
So this is the interesting thing. I was working with someone that's in that field and full time, so competitive in that degree. And he equated the idea of buying likes and boosting posts and stuff like that, if you're a full-time content creator, to faking your CV.
Yeah.
So he said they had this meeting somewhere. I forgot where it was. They went in to meet the brand. It was him and 2 other guys. He knows the 2 other guys were fudging the numbers, and the brand went with them in front of them. Like they auditioned basically three content creators, 3 influencers, and we're like, we're gonna go with these other 2. And he was like, how fair? Like, imagine that happened in the corporate world where it does happen. But I mean, like, I have a master's in accounting.
Yeah.
And from Harvard. I don't even know if Harvard does accounting, but you guys get my drift. And
I got a British passport. In it.
Everything. What do I lift weights? I do all that stuff, and you get the job over the guy that's actually, been pushing the numbers, been working his way up, trying to get that corporate ladder.
Yeah.
And he related to that. He's like, in that world, especially if you're doing it full time, it's fake. You're a fraud, basically.
Yeah, it is. And I think, so I don't know if you know, but I also have a role with the National Media Council as a Youth Media Council member.
Yeah.
There's, apart from being the only non-Arab on board, these are some of the things that I really wanted to deal with at that point of time, and especially fake news.
Yeah.
So fake people and fake news was the 2 things that I wanted to do an expose on. But then I realized you just got to take it easy with all of this. So yeah, it's easy for me to go out right now, figure out the person's Instagram, and go out and say, you know what, you're fake. I can do that. It doesn't take me much time. Just open my, get my camera in front of me, shoot a vlog, tell them the whole calculation, 2 million followers, 45 likes the moment he uploads it, and then after an hour you see, boom, suddenly an explosion, right? This is how you basically find out. I mean, of course, you've got tools like socialblade.com and all of these other guys.
It shows you like the ratio.
Yeah, it shows you the ratio, shows you the sudden increase in followers. And then you see some of these guys who are following other people quite irregularly. So you've got like a person who has 25,000 followers, but then has like 10,000 following. So this follow to follow kind of a game.
Yeah.
So there's so many strategies out there. But then as a person like me who's not really invested into unethical ways of growing, I feel it does put me on the side, right? It does make me feel sad. But then what I feel really good is that I haven't done that unethically.
Yeah.
So wherever I've got to 1,400 followers on Instagram, to 600 or something on YouTube.
Actually, sorry to cut you off. Let me for all my Metalhead friends out there, I am subscriber number 666.
Oh wow, you're the devil.
Number of the beast.
Amazing. Thank you so much, man. That's pretty cool.
As soon as I clicked it, I was like, yeah.
Now you know. Now I'm going to remember you for the rest of my life.
All the metalheads are like, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, when it comes to that, I at least know that I've got there honestly. There's not been 2 sideways to it. And at the end of the day, someday it is going to pay off.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with you. And I say the same thing to a lot of people. Like my social media game is fucking weak. I sing in a band. I make videos sometimes for very famous people, sometimes for absolutely nobody. I have a podcast where I talk to creative people about being creative, but not necessarily do a very branded question and answer kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. So some people that listen to the podcast absolutely hate the band.
Yeah.
Some people that like the band don't understand why I would even like upload a video with an influencer, like trying to do editing for them.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like merging my brand, I'm just like, you know what? Oh, fuck it. I'm just gonna call it going to call it Adnan. And I'm going to post all my crap, all the random things that I do under this one thing.
Yeah.
And if you guys dig it, you dig it.
Exactly.
That's kind of it.
I mean, see, I'll tell you one thing. I spoke with this one influencer someday, and he just hit about 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And he told me this one thing that I think this was just during my first year of vlogging. He was like, Hamid, if you want to get famous, stick to one thing. You know, and this, I would, of course, advise this to everybody as a digital marketer myself. But I wouldn't stick to that myself because that's not me.
Yeah.
I love scuba diving.
I mean, just from everything you already told us about the journey, it's been a bit of everything.
Right. And I love scuba diving. I love spending my Fridays in the desert with my truck and my friends, of course.
I like that the truck came first.
But yeah, I've not been taking the truck ever since COVID. But yeah, anyways. But yeah, I mean, you know, all these things are things that I love to do. I love tech. I love movies. I love eating. I love going out. I love traveling. You know, there's so much more that I'll keep love doing. And this is just me. Yeah. And if I have to just stick to doing something, for example, I know this one person who actually has his name lifestyle, his name off-road, his name blah, 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 whatever.
All like different accounts.
All different accounts. And I'm like, whoa, like I do this for a living, right? So I manage brands' social pages for a living. And I'm like, dude, I can't manage that. You want me to manage this? Like, seriously? You know? And that just can be me. I just think everything just fits under HamiVlogs. And I just love doing what I love doing. And I'm always going to keep putting whatever crap that I love, you know, and that what matters to me and goes there. I don't care if it does get many likes, you know. At the end of the day, I know for a fact that there's so many things that happen in my life just because of that. Yeah. Just because of probably that one like on my picture or the 2 likes on my picture. You know, so many things happen. Like I told you, the TV show happened. Yeah. Who gets a TV show just like that, right? People start seeing you. They just see the determination. They see the hard work behind it. And then the really true ones would come and appreciate. The other ones would be like, oh, it's another creator in the mix. You know, and then it's like, oh, that guy, yeah, he's an influencer. And now influencers become such a bad tagline because of a lot of people. It's come down to that I really
How do you feel about that word?
I mean, if I have somebody else calling me an influencer, fine. Me putting up influencer in my bio, not fine. Me getting a license to call myself an influencer, not fine. I can't do with that. You know, I don't know. Probably I'm wired to think like that. Or probably I'm just unwired to speak it out loud. You know,
I don't know when the term actually became dirty, so to speak. Like it was completely fine a couple of years ago. Yeah. People were saying influencer on the bios. People were saying, you know, even up and coming influencer was something people used when they were like starting their journeys. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the term itself just became associated with like the vapid, a very stupid. They just like dance in front of the camera. It specified one like very West Coast, like the
West Coast customs.
I'm trying to think of that.
Bling bling.
No, the Kardashians.
Oh,
That's who I'm thinking
exactly.
of. It just turned. If you say influencer, everyone thinks of like the Kardashians, and that was it. Yeah. I was like, what happened to the rest of it?
And then let's just do this, okay? Close your eyes, okay? When I say
this
the
is
word,
very soothing.
Exactly. Oh, the music and my voice.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Okay.
Closing my eyes.
Close your eyes. When I say the word influencer, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
All the stuff I just said.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you for spoiling the fun out of it. But yeah, I mean, for me, when I say the word influencer, things that come to my mind, Lambos, bling bling, yacht parties, you know, all that. And I'm like, not everyone's that. You know, for me, Mother Teresa was an influencer.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, Obama is an influencer. You know, so.
But when did even the bling, like, when did that happen? When did content creation? Because if you think back to like, you know, Philip DeFranco, Casey Neistat, all the OGs, even Peter McKinnon, or like these guys are content creators.
Exactly.
MKBHD
MKBHD, right?
Insane. Like who needs a red to shoot a phone review video?
Exactly. I mean, have you seen the lenses?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Right? I love that. Oh,
the Pro Blends.
The Pro Blends. Oh man.
But that's a content creator. So when did influencer come into play?
That's the thing. So when does MKBHD call himself an influencer?
No.
I mean, he's sitting with Bill Gates making cake. You know.
Yeah, that's true. And Zuckerberg recently.
Exactly. And if you look at influencers, this food is so tasty. It's so yum, you know. Oh my God, this is so amazing. And then, look at this car. This car is so... Everyone has so much of positivity in them that you just think that this world is fake.
Yeah.
You know, and then that changes this whole thing of that person has a tagline called influencer to him. And that's where the whole negativity comes into play. That's one.
Yeah, I think the yeah, you're right. The selling a brand or enjoying a brand became tinted completely. You cannot, even if you thoroughly enjoy something at this point, post it online if you have any sort of following without saying, by the way, this is not sponsored. Because everyone just assumes, oh, he's getting paid to say that.
Exactly. I mean, for me, I still remember I did my first paid gig with one of these brands, and they were like, you know, you can only say positive. And I was like, okay, this is the first paid gig, you know, and I think I just touched 1,000 followers then on Instagram. And I was like, okay. And I looked up to them and I was like, you know, see, listen, if there's something that I don't like, is it fine if I highlight that? Like, no. I'm like, okay, fine, let's change this, right? When I was like, okay, these are the 5 top features that I love about this. And that's it. Bye-bye, see you, walked off.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, didn't you have anything else to say? I'm like, no, because if I have to say and I want to use it, I want to use the product.
Give both sides of the coin.
Look, exactly. And use it for a good time, right? And then you have those guys who just want to be the first people to release it out there. They get the product in the morning and in the evening the blog's out.
Yeah.
They just have enough and more free time to do this, right? And they're like, yo, so, you know, I use this product for 3 hours. I don't know, you know? And then we're like, I mean, have you seen the guy Unbox Therapy?
Yeah.
Right? Legit, of course, the way he does his stuff. And that's exactly how my TV show was. It was actually a full copy of Unbox Therapy.
Yeah.
I didn't do the concept, but then that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
Right? And at that point in time, I would get products to at least use for a week. And that's when you actually know how good the product is, right? For example, let's just take that mobile that's lying there. You know, I got it. It just released today. You know, I had it for a week. I took it with me to the desert. I used it and I was like, wow, charge time's amazing. You know, full charge in 36 minutes. I mean, you clock that, right? Because you're like using it.
But you're not reading off the script.
I'm not reading off a script.
You're physically using it and figuring it out.
And then there are people out there who just want to be like, oh, I'm the first one to put it out. Oh, I'm an influencer. Let me talk about this, you know? And then you're like, oh man, this is crap. You know? So yeah, if you really give 2 Fs to...
Oh, we can curse here. I don't know if you do, but we can curse here.
I just want my son to see how good I am. You know, Daddy's 32 today, bro.
Today?
No, just saying. Like,
okay.
This month.
Right. I was like, this is a great birthday.
No. But yeah, I mean, Daddy's 32 and he's still not cussing on camera. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just that if you don't give 2 Fs to all the content that you see around you and you just love doing what you're doing, you will get there.
Yeah.
You know, it might take years, it might take 10 years, but does it really matter to you? Because you probably not just doing this full time. You have something on the side.
Yeah.
Right. And this is something you're doing on the side as well. But if you are passionate about it and you keep that passion living, I'm sure 100% you get somewhere.
Yeah. It's crazy. You're saying catering the censorship to your kid and stuff. How insane is it that there are generations of people coming up now that know the term YouTubers and want to be content creators and understand all that? We were in that generation that figured that out. You know what I mean? Like, there are people that don't know a world without YouTube.
To be honest, I never knew I was a YouTuber. Because I would upload Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. You know, I just go crazy. Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, and then this kid just came up to me and was like, hey, you're a YouTuber, right? And I was like, me? I'm like, you know, and then he was like, yeah, I've seen your videos on YouTube. I was like, yeah. I'm a YouTuber, but I like vlogs, so I'm a content creator. Oh, okay, but you're a YouTuber too, right? I'm like, oh my God, you know, I'm having conversation with a 14-year-old trying to understand who am I, you know?
It is because the label is weird. Like if you introduce yourself, hey, I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah.
It immediately, it's like influencer. It puts you in a separate category.
Exactly.
Where it's like, all right, oh yeah, so what kind of, whereas content creator, I feel like content creator is the most...
It narrows it up. I mean, it really is a broad term.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, you've got digital marketing. You have SEO, SEM, affiliate, display, you know, and it just goes on with technical terms.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get your mind.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was like, ABC.
Exactly. You know, so that's how insane it goes under digital marketing. And you won't believe social media actually falls under digital marketing, you know, and then just looked like I was shoving something. But then, you know, that's digital marketing for you. And that's content creation in a nutshell. Content creators are YouTubers, Instagrammers, whatever you want to call them, right?
Yeah.
Influencers is still a bad word now.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. Have you catered your, how old's your kid?
My kid's now, he's turning 4 in another 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're turning 1 in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank
Congratulations,
you. Thank you. Yeah, it's
nice.
Does it get easier?
Well, honestly, it gets interesting. You know?
Okay.
And it depends on how interesting you want it to be. One thing I've understood during COVID, March, I got to spend some time with the family. And then I realized that, okay, you know what? Fatherhood has happened.
Yeah.
After 2 kids. You know? I mean, honestly, I don't know why this is, but then probably it's just me observing. Mothers just get into it. You know? And then the fathers, like, sometimes it hits them, sometimes it doesn't. But I'll give you an example. We were at the hospital, my son Rehan, he was born and the doctor was like, so do you know to swaddle? I was like, interesting. Like, you mean tuck? You mean this? Like, yeah. I'm like, interesting. You know, I have no clue how that happened. I never saw a YouTube video how to swaddle a baby, anything of that sort. And my wife looks at me like, I did all of this. Where did that come from? You know? And then we were like, and then ever since that, I was not really the father figure. I was like, hey buddy, what's up? You know, and like I always wanted to do that. I wanna probably play video games with my son, you know. And the other day we were playing a game on the iPad, and my wife's looking at me, she's like, you're a father now. I'm like, yeah, but you make it sound like a bad word. You know?
You have to be angry and upset.
Exactly. You've been making him play games, you know? And then I was like, yeah, but you know, I just want him to live life the way it is. I want to be a friend to him more than a father. Yeah. That F really matters to me, you know, a friend over father any day, you know? And I mean, but then during this time, we've been baking together. We've been doing everything that you usually do in quarantine. You know, like we've been, I don't know.
All the bread.
Exactly. You know, bread. We've been making Indian chaat food, which we used to usually go out and have.
Yeah.
And yeah, lots and lots of food, you know, grilled chicken. Wow, it tastes so good. I've actually turned out to be a good Afghani cook.
Okay.
Because I really love Afghani food. And
what is Afghani food?
Afghani food is like kadais. Have you had a kadai before?
No.
Okay, it's more of like a dry gravy kind of a dish.
Okay.
You usually have it with a roti or bread. And I love that, right? For some reason, I don't know why. I actually have a really good high affinity with Pakistanis for some reason. And then at that point in time, I was like, you know what? Let me make this kadai, the Afghani kadai. And I started making it and I was like, wow, I've cracked the code. I can make it at home. And ever since I've been cooking. Yeah. You know, so I put up pictures and videos of me cooking and guys like, but you're a tech influencer. I'm like, no, I just love cooking now. Look at my utensils.
Let's start a cooking channel.
Exactly. And you know, I went out the other day and I was like trying to find out deep dish frying pan. And my wife's looking at me, she's like, can you believe it? Things have changed. You're looking for a frying pan over a mobile. I was like, yeah, you know, this is things that I love to do, you know, and I would still go and buy a mobile any day. But then at the end of the day, you know, I'm still doing this.
Yeah, so, I can't cook for shit, man. I can't. I've tried it. I could burn water. I swear to God.
No way.
I'm so bad at it. I could do like a grilled cheese sandwich.
Okay.
That's about
an omelet.
Scrambled. I can't do the sunny side up stuff. That's too complicated. Scrambled is easier.
You won't believe a lot of people can't even do scrambled, and I was one of those.
Dude, when I was in college,
I
have a story that's shameful.
Okay.
It was like the first month of me being away alone by myself. I went early. I was like 17, 16. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, man, I can't keep eating McDonald's forever, right?
Yeah.
I need to go buy some eggs and cook. And I was like, so technically you put it in a pan and heat the pan. That's simple enough. If I put it in a plate and put it in the microwave, it should work the same way. It didn't.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so that's where my background in terms of cooking is. So I come from I'm banned from the kitchen in our house.
Interesting. I mean, you won't believe I actually started making eggs in the microwave.
How? It doesn't work.
So there's this, I don't know, I found this thing in Daiso. It was this white thing. You put the egg in it and just put it in the microwave for about 2 minutes. And you have a brilliant white covered with yolk inside, half-boiled egg.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that could be possible.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are DIYs to basically getting into cooking.
Yeah.
I honestly have been an accidental chef, if I can say. You know, we bought the apron and stuff like that, and I've bought this whole chef's knife and all that. You know, honestly, nowadays I get a lot of pleasure when I'm cutting meat. You know, and I'm like,
and it's a good knife.
And it's a good knife, you know, and I'm like, look at this.
What was that guy's name? Salt Bay.
Oh yeah,
Salt
exactly,
Bay.
man.
That guy with his knives.
Oh man, it's insane, right? You've seen how he cuts it, like talk. I mean, it looks like he's making love to his beat.
It really does.
Rehan, don't listen to this. But yeah, you know, it's insane, right? The way he does it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, you really need a good knife to be a good chef.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I everything about going back to fatherhood, like you were saying, it just feels like my wife felt like she became a mother the second we found out she was pregnant. Like instinct kicked in, everything.
Yeah,
and I feel like
sense.
Fathers have to like learn on the job how to be a father. And
have you been told to get a book?
I got the books. I did the audio books. I listened to a bunch of things. I went to all the classes. We did classes.
What?
Yeah. We went to birthing classes, all that stuff.
Okay.
We went all hippie and tried to figure all that stuff out.
Wife, if you're listening, you need to forward this. We never went for classes.
I know. I did the whole 9, bro. I was like ready to like get into the ring. I was ready.
Wow.
And then the second that's my cat, by the way, opening the door.
Oh, okay.
The second labor hit and we were in the hospital. Everything went out the window. I completely forgot everything I was supposed to do. I was like, where are the scented candles?
Oh my God.
Let's play the Beatles. Isn't that what you... Like, everything went out the window. But then I think that one of the craziest relationships I've ever had is trying to figure out... Because as soon as the kid was born, I was just looking at him. And Azad just walked into the room for those listening to the audio. I was looking at him and like, you have to figure out...
Yeah.
Like I don't know him. Exactly. I don't know what this. I love it. The thing that is now mine.
Yeah.
But there's no relationship.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest thing I had to learn is building a relationship with almost one way for the first couple of months at least before they even react to you.
Yeah.
Is one of the hardest things because I was like, hey. What's up?
Yeah, I completely get you. I mean, see, the thing is that honestly, if I have to tell you about myself and my kids, it took us quite some time for us to even realize that, you know, this is fatherhood. But then what I really loved about it was the way they reciprocate. Yeah. They don't have something wired to think things about. Yeah. They completely talk whatever they want to talk about. And I still remember, I couldn't tell my father, like, if you're not going to put the TV, I'm not going to talk to you. You know, that would be smack, you know, whereas looking at how Rehan is with me, I mean, mashallah, he's way more of like a friend, you know, and the way he talks to me, I really enjoy it. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, wow, he doesn't have a filter. Yeah. He doesn't have a wire to think like that. And I don't want to be that person to do that to him. Yeah. You know, so we have our ways.
For me, from my background, conservative parents always... Coming from conservative family to some degree always made me feel like I don't want to do that, passing it down. And like you said, oh, he might nibble.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, the cat's
that's all right.
The cat's eating Hami. We're
Yeah, he's having ham for dinner today.
and I always find that relationship very unique and very different for every person. Like I've had other friends that have just recently had kids and stuff, and they told me they instinctively went into it right away and knew everything, where everything was supposed to go, or how everything's supposed to, all the schedules, all that stuff. But at first, for me, I was very disconnected, especially because the kid doesn't need you.
Exactly. He's the mom.
Yeah.
And one thing I find, or the women find annoying, is that when the kid's crying, you're like, go take feed, And then the wife's like, why don't you just pat him?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, let me try. Okay, not working. Can you give him feed? Like things like that. And this is normal. I really find it to be normal. It's just that, not everyone instinctively becomes a father. Takes some time. Just gotta be able to accept it, and the wife's gotta accept it.
Yeah.
But then it's just about being able to work as a team.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I told you, me and my wife, we started our podcast.
Yeah.
Man, this thing changed our life.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean.
So what's the podcast called? Where is it gonna be?
So the best part is I don't even remember the podcast name because we shot like 4 weeks back. But we went to, so we were invited to the Rove podcast studio in the Rove Hotels down Sheikh Zayed. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go and shoot our own podcast. She was like, yeah, we don't do things together anymore. Yeah, let's do that. And we shot 4 episodes, right? And when we got back home, we had this weird smile. It kind of started spooking me out. And I was like, is this good that we're feeling right now? She's like, yeah. And I was like, man, I never knew that you thought this about this. And she's like, yeah, even I never knew you thought this about this. I was like, interesting. So we actually started bonding over the podcast show.
Yeah.
Because we spoke. And that's something that you miss out when you have kids. Right?
Yeah. You definitely have to be like, all right, we're allocating a couple of hours
exactly
to just hang out.
Exactly. And this is something that we don't have, I think, in our culture, where we come back to saying that, let's keep the kids aside and give a nanny to a nanny, and then we go out for dinner probably today. Or let's just go out for movie time, things like that. Of course, COVID season's different and you really don't have much to do.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, it's just about allocating that time. For me personally, I'm not used to timetables.
Yeah.
And I can't deal with things being planned in such a way. So I'm like, no freaking way am I going to do this. But then at this point of time, I just have to accept it that you have to have a schedule for things. So yeah, you just have to have a schedule for things. That probably is the way forward.
Yeah.
At least for me now.
So with the podcast, is it you guys discussing like a certain subject, or is it open format completely?
Open format at some level, but what we start talking about is parenting. We talk about our lives. We've been talking about how she looks at things, how I look at things, the male-female perspective.
Yeah.
We talk about those nuances where how the mother instincts kick in and how the father takes his own time. And we talk about everything on those levels. So yeah, you can say a bit of parenting. There's no tech anywhere in there, but it's just about living life and how to be trying to be better human beings in this world, trying to manage with your partner, and just trying to work things out, as a team. So these are some of the things that we just discussed.
I'm stoked. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear
I actually have it on my iPhone. I'm just waiting to figure out how am I going to put this on a podcast. So you're going to be the person.
Yeah, I'll show you exactly how to get it up on the right platforms and everything.
Brilliant. I think I also did see your video on YouTube about podcasts. Where you spoke about podcasts and where you need to go, and you also, I remember dropping you a line and asking you exactly how do I go about this.
Yeah.
So I think that would really, a video still needs to be simplified out there. There's so many videos out there saying that, go to anchor.fm, upload the video, and upload the audio, and then you're done, and then after that you can take that and put it up on Spotify and this and that and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, I have a Spotify account, I have an Angami account, I have all of that, but then just like, what do I need? Story. So that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And I think we have the story now, but we just need a little push to be able to upload it. So, yeah.
I think you should. You got 1 subscriber already. I'm down to hear some other people to tell their stories when it comes to being married with kids. Because sometimes, especially in during that lockdown time, you really you're like, anyone else out there feel this way? Anyone else out there?
But one thing that I've learned from this is the amount of time I've appreciated my own parents.
Yeah.
know?
Oh, dude. Parents, and I feel like even everyone else in the world.
Exactly.
You just look at them. Anytime someone's a dick, even if someone cuts in front of me on Sheikh Zayed Road and he's flashing, and I was like, at one point in time, he was a baby.
Yeah.
And that something happened to that innocent baby that made him a douche. But he was a nice baby at one point in time. It just changed my perspective. Like every time I look at someone, I'm like, you were like a kid, and you learned and you grew, and this is how you become who you are.
Exactly.
And before having a kid, I was like, that guy's a douche. I don't want to.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think parenthood adds a lot to perspective, changes you as a person. But don't try to change just for your partner or for your kid. Try to take it as a transition. This is what I believe is the right way. Because the moment you switch, and it's not easy, like you have multiple personalities in you, right? The moment you switch, you might have the urge to become something else.
Yeah.
That you're not, and that would lead to something else. This is something that I've seen happen in people. Unfortunately or fortunately, a lot of friends do share their dirty little secrets or their secrets with me, and at that point of time, it just comes up to me and like, wow, I'm just glad I've not taken that step in my life.
Yeah.
But I also take it as a learning, and I also try and give an advice as much as I can.
It goes back to what we were saying even about the content creation. Just
Exactly.
Communication and story, man. As long as you have those two things, you're set, even in terms of marriage, in terms of kids, in terms of business.
That's the
everything.
formula. That's the formula. There's no secret to it. Everybody just needs to communicate, talk, basic communication. If you don't like the color red, you don't like the color red. If you want to impress the girl, you like the color red. But then, I'm just saying,
Even when it comes to impressing, man, my wife has some stories where I was the guy in the corner when she'd be like, how does this look? I'd be like, it doesn't look good, bro. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's just about being open, raw, real about the relationship from the start. And that's what me and my wife were. I mean, me and my wife, we dated for almost 10 years before we got married. Yeah. And now we're married for almost 6 years.
Wait, you need to say that again into the microphone. It didn't pick it up.
I think so. So yeah, I mean, the most.
I'll edit this for you.
Yeah, thank you. So the whole point is that 7 years. The whole point is that you just got to talk, and trust me, the amount of respect I have for my wife now. She's actually become my manager. So she manages all my deals with brands. Yeah. Ever since that podcast. And I'm like, I never expected that to happen with her. But since this happened, it's actually changed my life. And that just happened because of a podcast. Yeah. So I'm just doing this podcast for the reason of opening up to my wife now.
That's amazing. That's actually amazing.
Yeah, that's my why.
Because then you dedicate the hours, right? Exactly. You're just like, all right, we're going to sit down for a couple of hours. Yeah. Whereas if it's just everyday life, there's always something that can get in the way. There's always like, but we need to do the laundry. Let me do the dishes quickly. But when you're like, all right, this is part of the work. Let's just sit down and finish the podcast. Yeah, it's a lot different. It's just like, let's sit down.
That's
and
why I was never even bothered about editing it. So I'm gonna keep it unscripted. Yeah, however it is.
Sorry guys if you hear a bit of shuffling. I'm trying to get the cat off the table. Azad and Sushi have made multiple appearances on Unmuted.
Mashallah, she should be. He should be
big
famous.
Boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. I mean, I just love cats. I love dogs.
You were saying you had before we started rolling, 35 cats at one point.
Yes, we had 35 cats. So in 2018,
that's a farm.
It was a farm. I mean, we stayed in Sharjah, so I've been in Sharjah for almost 30 years of my life. And I was staying in a 4-5 bedroom villa, and my mom just used to love taking care of cats. And I remember, so let's start a little more from back. My parents did not want me to have a pet. Okay. And at one point in time, I saw this one person putting a dog down because the dog used to bark. And damn, I was like, how long do I have? He's like, you have 24 hours. And I was like, oh damn, I need to get this dog home. And that's what I did. And then ever since, he was part of the family for almost 14 years. We lost him last year. But he was the first pet that I got home. And I told my mom that this is my boss's dog. I got to keep him home for at least a week or else, things are going to go bad for me at work. And she was like, what? I'm like, yeah, you have no clue what kind of stress I deal with,
That's how you came up with that.
I have no clue, right?
Because then it's very difficult to say no.
Exactly. And then my mom was like, okay, fine. Yeah, let's do this. I'm like, you got to speak to dad. She's like, yeah, okay, don't worry. And dad comes home and is like, what's this doing at home? We're not supposed to have dogs at home. I was like, yeah, I know. But dad, this is the thing.
Was it a religious thing or just like we don't want the mess kind of?
I mean, both. He was like, we don't want the emotional attachment.
Yeah.
We had 200 lovebirds at one point in time. So 200 budgies.
Yeah.
When I was growing
That's
up.
a lot.
Yeah. They just multiply like too quick. But yeah, I mean, so my dad was like, you don't want the emotional attachment. And, it's also, you can't pray and this and that. I was like, oh, dad, come on, just give it some time, just a week. And then a week was done. And I was like, shit, now what do I do? And I still remember my wife, then my girlfriend, she was like, so she would have him outside the class. I would go attend class and then come back and then she would go in and then I would take care of him. Mm-hmm. That's how we were shuffling, right? After the week was over. And then I was like, this can't just go on for long. And my friend was like, you know what? I'll keep the dog, man. I'll keep the dog. I was like, yeah, brilliant. Gave him the dog and he got kicked out of the house.
And your friend got kicked out for the dog?
Yeah. And he had to spend his night in Jumeirah, in the Jumeirah beach, in the open beach. So he actually slept in his car. And the next day, my frustrated friend went to my parents and was like, this is Hamid's dog. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. And then my dad's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm coming from work. I need to go to class. It's like, before that, you speak with me. And I was like, oh, shit. And we go home and dad's like, what's happening? I was like, well, they were going to put the dog down. He barks. He's a dog. What can you expect out of a dog? I can't let him just die for that.
Yeah.
And then ever since he became home. And my mom was scared of dogs. Because of him, she got friendly.
Yeah.
And then we had 35 cats. 35 cats the next thing I know. We moved from an apartment to a villa. 1 cat, 2 cats, 3 cats, 4 cats. At some point in time, I saw people dropping cats off at my gate. So I've had Persians, I've had Turkish Angoras, where the people spend like 6,000, 8,000 dirhams for just sitting out of my house.
So and they would be all around the house, going outside, coming in.
Yeah, just going out of the house. But because I had Spike at home, he would not like really want the cats home, and we didn't. I wouldn't be comfortable with the cats coming in, just because it was like I created the space for him. We got the villa for him, and that's when I got married, and I was like, it just can't be the cats coming inside, and then they just multiplied, man. They just kept coming. I mean, honestly, we would get everyone neutered, but there's just cats from all over the place.
Yeah,
it was like, hey, the party's here, man. Come, you got free food. What do you need? So yeah, I mean, that's what happened. And then when I lost my job in 2018, we had to figure out how to manage 35 cats. And my mom's got a rare heart disease, by the way. And it's like 1:1 million kind of a ratio. And she and my dad actually managed to get all the cats trapped and dropped off at a farm in Queen or Rasakhem or something of that sort.
Yeah, the reserves.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what. So 35 cats all gone there. And and that was one of the most difficult times of my life, because living with my parents and my parents living with me for 30 years, then you're like, mom and dad, I really can't afford living right now, and they were like, you know what, we're going back anyway, so don't worry about it, just take care of yourself and manage your thing. And then I'm currently in a court case, by the way, with my previous company.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
for the termination.
For the termination, yeah.
Okay.
So that's going on, and then the villa just got robbed after I came back after dropping my parents to the airport the day they were leaving from here. So the villa got robbed, and I called my dad the moment he landed, and I was like, "You want me to file a case?" And he's like, "Man, just have a court case going on. Concentrate on that. Forget this." And that thing actually took a whole different toll in my life. That moment of letting go. Because I'm this guy who's like, no, it's not right. I need law. I need justice.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just can't let this go. And my dad was like, just let it slide. Just let it slide.
I am in between both worlds. I have that, like, we need to get everything done. Justice must be served.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I always think back. It's like, what are we really... Are we really going to win? Like, how much effort is going to go into it versus how much we're getting back from the result?
Exactly. I mean, the same thing happened during my case, wherein my family were like, don't go for it. And I was like, no, I have to. this is something that I cannot sleep with.
Yeah.
And I have to just do it. And my wife still date. I mean, I still remember she told me this. She's like, I just hope and pray you win, because what you've done for 2 years is just mind-boggling. And I keep telling her this. I'm like, the amount of learning I've had in this 2 years. I mean, from a person who's a director of a company, then just goes down to being that person who does not have a job, but then you just turn around your life and start hustling like crazy. I mean, I went from being an art producer to a person who would actually help people move their house with the truck that I have outside.
Yeah.
So I'll be a mover for them. And I went up even being a drone videographer, a drone photographer, content creator for a few other people. So I went in doing so many other things, because then you become responsible. You've got a wife and a kid to fend for. And then my wife was pregnant as well.
Yeah.
And during this time, just before I lost the job, my son had a febrile seizure on the flight. You wouldn't know what a febrile seizure is.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. So imagine this. God forbid it happens to anybody. But we're coming back from the UK, and 2 hours into the flight, my son has this, just goes crazy. Like his eyes flip, okay, and his lips turn blue, and he starts frothing from his mouth, and he held lifeless in my hands.
And this is nothing remotely happened before?
Never happened before. And I was like, I bought the flight down, man. I went crazy. I was like, man, I want to know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's one of the most...
and how long was left for the flight?
5 hours.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I felt like every second there was a pin being plucked into my heart, because I had a pregnant wife with me.
Yeah.
And a son who's just there, and I was like, man, I can't lose this. I can't lose them both. I can't do this, right? But you just got to be strong. And I was like, I went left, right, center at the authorities in there, and it was like, man, well, what's happening? What do I do? Tell me. They didn't make an announcement for the doctor on board. They never even thought of rerouting the flight. Nothing of that sort. I know it costs a lot of money, but then of course it's not worth my son, probably for them. But then, I mean, these are the things that happen on board, and thermometer wasn't working. The thing that basically measures your heartbeat wasn't working. And I was like, man, what's happening, right? What do I do?
So what happened?
So he had a febrile seizure because his fever when it hit his brain. So like how most computers hang, the body basically shuts off for a while so that you cool down. And I didn't know this. And most parents should actually know it, because it's actually common between the age of when they're born till they're 5 years old.
Yeah.
So this is something that you need to know. So all you need to do is, when this happens, is make sure that you have your baby lying on the side, so that the froth comes out and doesn't block
anything,
the breathing duct, right? So that's, basically the windpipe. So you just don't want them to choke at that point of time. But it can be dangerous. But then this is what happened. And I got to know this after he had a second febrile seizure attack when we came down to the airport. So the first one thing that happened was that they basically got us cold towels to put them in, which is the basic things that you need to do.
Yeah.
Any fever
cool
for a
the
kid,
body down.
Yeah, exactly. Cool the body down. Take some normal water towels or cold water towels and just put it on the forehead, the palm, and stuff like that. But the moment we landed, they were like, okay, so you need to move out and then go to the hospital. And I was like, yeah, is the ambulance ready? And they were like, what ambulance? And I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, man, you are a big airline. You need to make sure that this is done. And they're like, yeah, but we have procedures. I'm like, man, I understand. This is something that you don't even understand.
Are we allowed to say which airline?
I work for that airline.
Okay.
So that probably give it off. But anyways, and that point in time, I lost it. And I was like, man, this is wrong. After a while, second febrile seizure attack happened. I lost my shit. I went to the washroom and I just broke down crying. And I was like, my parents are not here. I don't know what to do. And then you're like, call up a friend, and I was like, bro, I need you. I just need you to just come. Just come. I'm at this airport, and we're going to go to I think we were going to Rashid Hospital.
Yeah.
And I was like, just come down to Rashid Hospital. We're going to be there. And it's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll be there and stuff like that. Friends came down. We were moved to Rashid Hospital after the second febrile seizure attack through an ambulance. And they were like, do you want your luggage? I'm like, screw the luggage. I'll take it later. Moved to the hospital, cut short. He recovered. And my wife was like, listen, it's your office offsite. Why don't you go to the office? Go for the offside. And it was happening at Queen Elizabeth. I was like, I really don't feel like it. We just came from UK. This happened. I just want to be with him. She was like, no, just go. You need to get your mind out of it. I'm like, okay. Went to Queen Elizabeth, did the offside. Next day, I've been given my papers. So it was like, it was just too much happening at that time. So, and just back to back to back. And then at one point in time, most people actually go down saying, why me?
Yeah.
Why, what did I do?
Do you believe in coincidence or the star signs or written in stone or any of that stuff? Or is it just...
It's good fun for me to read through.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I believe in as such. But yeah, it's, yes, there are coincidences that happen, probably. But then I think it's just that this particular thing, when it happened, or when it happens in somebody's life, let's put this way. Probably you hit a fine on your car. Okay. The next thing you know, you met with an accident, God forbid. And then after that, you know that your tire is flat. You just be like, why the hell is this happening with me?
Yeah.
Right? Why am I the chosen one?
Yeah.
And it's just about, I think that at that point in time, it's just about the most testing time in your life where you have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And that's when I believe that it really helped me become the person that I am today, those 2 years. And I give it full credit.
Yeah, I think, like you said, testing times that's the gym. That's the time you're getting ready for the next step. That's the hard time you have to go through to do exactly what you're doing right now.
Exactly. If I have to be honest, working from home from March was a thing for me since 2018 November when I lost my job.
Yeah.
And ever since I've been working from home.
Yeah.
And things changed. Like I never knew that I could use a Canon G7X Mark II and make a corporate video for an embassy. You'd want some really cool gadgets to show up, right? And I had this guy. This guy's been that trustworthy guy who's made me a lot of money during this period of time. At least to survive. And for example, I ask people, what's your happy? Mm-hmm. When I say what's your happy, it means you paid off your rent, you paid off your credit card, you paid off your expenses, you bought food at home on the table, everyone's having food, you paid your utilities, and then you get that little more extra. Mm-hmm. If you get that little more extra, that for me is a bonus.
Yeah.
But if I've met all those needs that I have in that day and month, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm not stressed, I'm just happy. And that's what keeps a guy hustling. And that's what I believe most fathers tend to say, I'm doing this for you.
100%.
And then that's what actually changes. That I'm doing this for you. You need to be with them to do that for them. Yeah. This is what I believe in. And that's what I really learned during these 6 months.
And also a lot of people forget especially when they talk about the parenthood, I'm doing this for you, I'm doing this for the family. If you're not happy, no one's happy.
Exactly.
If you're miserable doing it for them, then it's that miserable household. No one's going to be happy doing the same thing. That even if you're making millions, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Being happier and fulfilling the needs is a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, for me, I used to go scuba diving at least every week, and I used to do 2 dives, right? If possible 4 dives, and then that changed to off-roading, and then that changed to spending little time with friends, and then it would be like, oh, you're going out to the desert on a Friday, that's the talk. I've been doing this for 5 years, and then you're like, oh, you know what, I'm not going today. That wasn't me. I would be like, oh, you know what, I'll come back and let's do something. And this time now it's like, I won't go today. It's changed. So it's all about setting your priorities. And I used to hate this word. My dad used to tell me this when I was 13, and be like, you need to set your priorities. I'm like, stop using big words, and then today I realized.
My priority is to go out.
Exactly. And today now I realize that, you really need to set your priorities.
Yeah. I think that a friend of mine and I, on a Thursday night, we're both wearing shorts and t-shirts, walking around with strollers in this compound. He had his kid, I had my kid. We're walking around talking about which stroller was better for when we traveled, so it can compact easy into and then we stopped for a second. We're like, you realize 5 years ago we were in a ditch somewhere, just completely devastated, or at a show trying to mosh, or we were definitely aiming to go out, and by 9 p.m. we would have been somewhere completely different.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, man, like it actually hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It's just the way the things we're doing, the priorities, like you said, around us. We're still hanging out and talking like we used to do, but instead of a drink in our hand and loud music, we're strolling, whispering because our kids are both asleep.
Exactly, right? I mean, you change from having drinks to baby bottles.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's what it is. And it actually changes. This whole circle of life keeps happening the same way in your parents' life.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, it might be a little more different during those years. But then, you know, right now, this is what's happening. Like, I still remember speaking to my friend saying that, hey, you know, that stroller is pretty cool. You just kick it and it just flattens out and you just put it in the back. And then I was like, but you know what? I have a truck. So, you know, I just do with this, you know, but it's actually the conversation, the content keeps changing. You know, it keeps evolving. And that's what I believe in. This is something that I keep saying every time, that you got to evolve before you dissolve. Yeah. And if this doesn't keep happening, you're just going to be that sheep following the hood. Yeah. You know, you don't want to be that. Yeah, 100%.
And one of the biggest things I learned in the last couple of years is being wrong. I'm so thankful every time someone proves me wrong. Whereas before, when I was like, if I would fight to the death to prove my point versus someone else's, and now I'm so happy. If you teach me something new, I'm ecstatic, dude. I don't care being right. No, that's something that I feel changed with like, you know, the pregnancy and the kid. Like, I could be wrong. Yeah. I could be wrong. Teach me. I'm all right.
Yeah. No, of course. I mean, see, this is the most vulnerable you can get. Yeah. Right? You are like putting my guns down. Yeah. Just tell me what I need to do. You know, and that's what's happening in your life right now. And this is something that, honestly, every parent, for example, within our culture, the Indian culture specifically, or the Desi culture, if I call it, you shouldn't be taking your kid out for 60 days, 60 days.
Oh, yeah. We have something similar.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. And my son was born, I still remember, this was in Chicago, and he was born, and the next day we were at a steakhouse, halal steakhouse, you know, and you're like, yeah, let's bring the steak, let's party, let's have a good time. And I still remember the cops pulled me over the same night because we had like 5 people in the car. Yeah. But you know, it was that kind of celebration, you know. And then if anyone else from my family would listen to that, and they'd be like, what's wrong with you? And then I know that day 3, we went on a train ride from Chicago to Kansas. Yeah. Okay. Day 10, we were on a flight from day 10, we were back from Kansas to Chicago. Day 15, we were on a flight from Chicago to Jersey. Yeah. Okay. This is exactly what I'm going to tell you now. You need to listen to this very carefully. All this happened. That point of time, I was like, yeah, we did it. Right? We didn't want to do that 60-day thing. Yeah. Okay. Being the rebel. The moment the febrile seizure thing happened, we told you. This is what happened. You know, and not for my parents, but from a lot of other people, right? And they're like, yeah, see, his immune system is down and this and that and all that stuff. This is what happens.
But see, this is another thing that I have, why I have an issue with authority, or the traditional version of authority. Yeah. Don't do it for 60 days. Yeah. Why? Just don't. That's the rule. Exactly. If you just sat me down and went, listen, the immune system is compromised within the first 2 months, for example, and because of the nature of the world, the traveling, it'll get dusty, and just explain it to me. I'll be like, okay,
that's exactly cool. Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I think our culturally, it's just like, don't. Yeah. Period. Yeah. That's part of the reason I have tattoos. They're like, don't. I was like, why? I like it. They're like, don't.
If you can see. But
when I was 13, I was like, what are you talking about? Why not? It's art. I don't get it. They're just like, no. Yeah. I disagree. So I'm going to go get one.
if you were experiencing that, okay, you know, whichever religion you come from, irrespective, whatever, based on facts that, you know, it's not good for you, makes sense. Like, just give me that rationale, right? And the same thing happened with me as well. I was like, it took me quite some time to tell my parents that I need to get a tattoo. You know, I just love dragons, you know, and dragons don't exist. So I'm kind of playing the game. I found a loophole in this. And then they were like, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. You just do whatever. It's your life.
But see, this is the thing. Even if it's not good for you, this is my argument. Is that even if it's not good for me, not for anyone else,
exactly,
I get to make that choice.
Yeah, you do, and this is your life. You are responsible for what you do on your body, and that was my exact same argument. And at one point in time, I was like, you know what? It's my life. I gotta do this, and that's it. 18 hours later, I know that this was gonna happen. My left arm has a huge dragon. So yeah, I mean, of course, religiously and all that stuff, a lot of people be like, oh, how could you get? No, not good. I mean, for heaven's sake, even Mike Tyson had it, right? Before he converted and stuff like that. And then now, I'm not just gonna go and take it off because I realize that it's not wrong or it's wrong or whatever. It's just that's a whole. That discussion is a can of worms.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that because there's so many variables to that.
Exactly.
It's your interpretation of certain things.
Exactly.
And it's others' interpretation. If it goes down to like, is it haram or halal or any of that stuff? There are people doing some things that in their mind is completely all right.
Exactly.
That are completely unacceptable to others.
Yeah, of course. And I get it. I mean, if I have to be honest, man, talking about that particular topic, it is very sensitive. I am not a qualified scholar as such. But then I do know for a fact that what other people find to be normal is not normal.
Yeah.
And for me, when I debate, and I do have these religious debates at times, by the way, during my spare time, if I had to have that. Yeah. But when I do have these religious debates with people from different sects, my thing to them specifically is that I'm having this debate. This is a disclaimer. I'm having this debate to learn something new.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not here to win over my conversation. I don't want to have a rebuttal just to win. It's just to learn and understand what it is all about, right? We are all, honestly, man, we small specks of dust on this earth, right? We have this much life left. Is this what you want to do?
Yeah.
Let's just go out.
like I said, it'll be the best thing in the world if you just go, oh, you proved me wrong. I am now convinced. Cool.
Exactly, right?
It's one of the easiest things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a lot of friends recently. I mean, I saw this one video put up with this one guy. I don't know. He's known as Mr. Smile or something of that sort. Arab Emirati. Mm-hmm. And he had this thing saying that 3761 number of people converted, in the UAE in 2019. And I was like, interesting. That's a good number. I don't know how many of other sects happened, but then at the end of the day, if I look at it, my mom's Christian. Mm-hmm. So now I want to know who turned Christian.
Yeah.
So it's just about being exposed. So I was brought up in that kind of a culture. I was given exposure to that. And I'm at one point in time, I just want to get favors or let's say being loved by my mom's side of the family.
Yeah.
So I actually lead prayers as a Christian, in the home.
Yeah.
And that was like, wow. And then after a period of time, I understood like, all of this that happened in my life made me a person today that I realize exactly, and I have made my own choice. I know what I want to do in my life, and that is it, and I stick by it.
Yeah.
It's just that you just got to keep falling and learning and falling and learning and accepting. Because if you don't accept, man, you're just living a life full of attitude and ego that you don't want to go back down on your roots, So you just got to do that. Just accept life the way it is. Accept when people say that this is the fact. It's not necessarily you blindly go and accept it. Oh, yeah, you're right. No, just, if you got the fact, you've understood it, just don't try to keep your ego ahead of you.
Yeah.
Just take it here. You're right. I learned something new. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely agree. Man, I think we need to find a part 2 at some point because there's so much more I want to dig into. A lot of the things I'd like to have just full episodes dedicated to poking around because you have such a unique story, man.
Inshallah, man. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. I really loved it, man.
Thank you for being here, dude.
Likewise.
It's been a pleasure. I always end with the same question.
Okay.
Now that people have heard a little bit of your journey, the rise from or the dynamic up and down that you've had since the mobile shop, since the dancing days, since all that stuff happened. If you were to go back in time and give little Hamid a piece of advice, just a sentence, a quick, hey Hami, listen, I wanna tell you something quick.
Yeah.
What would be the first thing, the only thing you would tell younger you as a piece of advice?
Change education.
Change education. What is that?
I mean, for me today, as of now, I've been teaching. I've got people between the age of 28 down to 50 learning digital marketing from me.
Yeah.
And the amount of happiness I get when they pass a Google exam, or when they basically come and show me their certificate, that is just amazing. And that is my happy now. You know, so I've moved out from just being that agency person. Of course, I do have few brands that I consult, and I'll always do that, you know, because it's always been a passion for me. But I think that every time we have a foundation, it starts from school. It's just, of course, starts from your culture and your parents.
Yeah.
But then what you really are wired to is become a good employee at some point in time in your school, right? You've been taught how to be a good human being, which is brilliant. But then if you are equipped with future skills, such as coding, digital marketing, you know, things like that, social media, when you're equipped with that, you're prepared to go out there and start working.
Yeah.
You know, or start your own business or doing something different in your life. Honestly, with the kind of education that I had, I never ever thought I would start my own business. I never even knew that you call it entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You know, it was that for me. But then when I saw this other world and I saw the amount of risk you need to take to get something, to get to something, I was like, this is or should have been my purpose of life, you know, from the beginning.
And you wanna start applying that
Exactly.
to education systems, and you wish you did that before. You wish education systems were different from back in the day.
Exactly, because that's what makes you as a person in terms of your foundation.
Yeah.
You know, you spend most of your time in school.
Yeah.
You carry a bag that's heavy, you know, full of books.
Yeah.
And then you just go back home because you want to pass. So you're part of this rat race, and you got to get out of it eventually. And when does that happen? That happened when I flunked my 10th.
Yeah.
Although, so this is just a bit of an insight. I got about 89 out of 100 in my mock exams. I got 9 out of 100 for my main exam.
What happened?
And I lost a year. So basically, I wrote my exam. And you know, during those days, we had pen pencils.
Yeah.
Right? So I was drawing a graph, I guess. And the pencil nib broke. And the metal piece basically just slid through the whole paper when I was drawing the line. And I was like, shit. And I look, and there's this big hole right in between of my answer sheet. I'm like, damn. And I was really good at math, right? And then I go up to the invigilator and was like, hey, listen, this is what happened. Like, yeah, sure, don't worry. We put sellotape on it. I was like, yeah, cool. Put a sellotape. So what happens in the Indian education is that you pass out after you've actually gone to 11th. So if you've gone to 11th grade, you've actually gone to 11th grade before your results come out.
Okay.
Because the Indian syllabus has it that they will check all the answers and then release it online.
Yeah.
And then once you get to know, then you get demoted if you fail.
Yeah.
So that's like the most shameful thing that ever happened.
Yeah, that's hard on a kid.
Yeah, that's hard on a kid. Exactly. The education doesn't think that way though. Yeah. But yeah, so when that happened, they got back to me saying that you got 9 out of 100. You know what? You can still continue the 11th grade if you give it for re-evaluation. Probably they've done a mistake. And I was like, it's a single digit. You know, how could I get a single digit writing an exam for 3 hours?
That's just writing your name down.
Exactly, right? And they were like, give it for re-eval. I was like, okay, I gave it for re-eval. Came back saying that no, the mark's correct. And I was like, that's impossible. And I locked myself in the room for like almost 3 days, 2 days. Like, you know, this is it. I'm done with education. If this is what it is down to, numbers, then I'm done with this.
Wouldn't someone notice that the paper is ripped and the fact that they could still read the answers? Or
of course. I mean, I don't know what they must have thought or what that person's gone through. Probably fought with his wife, because the newspaper, I mean, the answer sheets don't get signed here.
Yeah.
They go to India.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't know what state of mind that person's sitting in. I know people who've written songs and passed out. They've written songs literally on the answer sheet because you're like, I mean, the guy's got like, you've seen our population, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of papers to go through.
Exactly, you know, and then I just don't know what just happened there. And I was like, you know what, just got to deal with it. And that's when I quit school and got into private schooling. And that changed my life.
Yeah.
That was a whole different world for me because you're not wearing a uniform.
Yeah.
So you're not like, you have your own identity, you wear what you want to wear, and you're doing 11th grade, your 12th grade, but you're doing it on your own terms.
Yeah.
You know, and I still remember this. I was like, I was a rebel, man. I had hair way long and I was like into crazy, dancing. I had my own thing, own thing going on. So it never really mattered to me, even if I was alone, because I was like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I was very focused. Because after I got out of school, I was like, you know what those guys are doing, they're just sheep.
Yeah.
They're going to be following the herd.
So having said that, now with kids, what's a school for them looking like? Homeschooling.
Yeah. That's what
I have a lot of friends that are doing homeschooling.
Yeah.
Also pros and cons.
Yeah, the pros and cons. Of course, engagement is one thing. My mother-in-law, she does babysitting. So, we got kids coming home every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, brilliant. You're getting paid. As well as he gets people to play with. Brilliant. Let's just continue this. And yeah, I mean, it's just limited kids because, it's COVID and all that stuff. So you just got to work things out. But then, yeah, I mean, currently, I think that homeschooling is a good option.
Yeah.
Screen activity is something that's could become a big issue in the future for kids, especially when you tell them to be in front of a laptop or a computer talking to a teacher on a webcam,
Yeah, that's the norm.
Exactly. That's the norm right now, right? And I mean, this is something that's actually helping me out as well because I'm teaching online.
Yeah.
But then what I really feel is, again, future skills. You got to invest in future skills.
Yeah.
English, circle, triangle, of course, really important, no doubt. You got the ABCs, you got the rhymes, but then future skills.
Yeah.
And
sprinkle a bit of coding in there.
Exactly. But sprinkle just a bit, and if I have to be right now very candid, I'm also an ambassador for the Bet Mia. So Bet Mia is actually an educational conference exhibition show that happens in the UK. They brought it down to the UAE as well. So I'm one of their advisors. And I'm the only one, I think, who does not come from a school background.
Yeah.
I'm not a teacher specifically, at least not a certified teacher. And some of them are professors on board, and it is quite, it feels good, that I am actually the youngest on the board.
Yeah.
And most importantly, I'm just trying to create and share what are my thoughts about the education system. I'm not trying to change things overnight. I'm just trying to add value to it. Just 100%. Make it meaningful for the kids.
Yeah.
So by the time they're out of school, they have something to hold to as a skill. It shouldn't come down that when you're in 10th grade, you want to be in commerce or science based on your marks. Like I said, numbers is something that makes a person and breaks a person.
100%. And another thing is, when I was in high school, the fact that you have to pick at such a young age what track you want to take.
Exactly.
It's like I've changed my career 100 times. I don't even know what I do for a living.
Did you know how to use that when you were in school?
No. Well, that I did. The tiny one.
The tiny one, of course, yeah.
The tiny one.
Yeah.
And we're pointing at a Canon HDV camera for those listening. But I thought no one told me that you could be good and have a career out
of it. Exactly.
And I was like, I love doing this thing. I love making movies. I love putting little edits together.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, okay, that's what you do for fun.
Exactly.
But you're gonna go study
get a job.
IT not even IT. I wish it was IT. I was gonna go study whatever it was, accounting or whatever.
Yeah.
I keep going back to accounting. Sorry, all accountants listening to this. But because I'm shit at math, that's why I keep doing that. But no one said, "Oh, you're into film and photography."
Yeah.
There's a massive world out there that you could do this in.
Yeah. Go to New York.
Exactly. Just anything, man. Even like you're saying now. Can you imagine how many people started because of Peter McKinnon?
Yeah.
A vlogger who has some tutorials up. There's a generation of vloggers and filmmakers and photographers now because of this one person that uploaded a video teaching people how to take better photos.
Exactly. I started iPhoneography where I started taking pictures. I mean, I owned a DSLR then. I did take pictures, good pictures. And then after that, I was like, wow, mobile happened, Apple happened. And I was like, iPhoneography.
Yeah.
I actually launched the page iPhoneography before even His Highness Sheikh Hamdan put up his first hashtag of iPhoneography.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, this could happen something. I could do something with it. But then I just left it to that. And now my wife takes better pictures than me. But, I mean, it's all about that, man. It's all about that skill. And I remember visiting this one school. I did a vlog about it, where they had drones and they had 3D printers and they had Lego Plus, and I was like, wow,
That's a crazy. That's the future.
that is what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Some of the schools actually have implemented it, and I'm just being the dinosaur not seeing that. But then it's not just also that, there also needs to be a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, and probably I'm just being selfish or greedy, but then, you know, I'm just worried about the generation ahead.
Yeah.
A lot of people be like, you know what, you survive, they'll survive. I'm like, yeah, but you want them to live.
Yeah.
You want them to live and have a great time.
And thrive.
And
not
thrive,
just
exactly,
survive.
not survive.
Yeah.
You know, we're not dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You know, we know exactly where we are on the food chain and how we need to work our way through. Right now, I've been hustling for 2 years and I know how it is. You know,
Yeah.
I love it, you know, and I'm not going to ever regret any moment of it. But then at the end of the day, you just want these kids, when they grow up. I mean, I'm sure you want this for your son as well, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You know, you want him to be
100%.
focused on what he wants to do.
Exactly.
When I spoke with a 9-year-old and he told me, I want to be a YouTuber. And I was like, wow, cool, man. Good on you. And the father was like, how much do I need to invest in the camera?
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, man, you're taking a big step here.
Yeah.
You know, you just need to understand that you got to give him his free way. Let him just do his thing.
Yeah.
It might work, it might not. Let him just do it.
Yeah,
You know?
100%. And you know what? It starts with YouTuber, it starts with vlogger, it starts with that, then content creator, then director, and then I feel like the older generation is scared of those terms because they don't know what it leads to. It's like
Exactly.
I'm not just gonna. The YouTuber doesn't mean I'm just doing one thing. The skill set needed to be a YouTuber is the important part.
Exactly.
You need to code. You need to learn how to do social media engagement. You need photography. You need all this insane stuff
Yeah.
under the one title YouTuber.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a stable job that brings you a paycheck at the
Yeah.
end of the month, right? That's what most people are worried about. It's all about stability. But then if I have to be honest, people who were working for some of the biggest airlines and working for all those other big firms, they've seen how stable we are at this point.
Yeah.
You know, one little thing that we can't even see can change your world.
Knocked us all down.
Exactly. Just like Minions, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just about being able to live your life, thrive, like you said, right? Not survive. And that's what you want to do. You just want to do that. And you expect that for the future, for however long this world exists. But yeah, I mean, this is what I believe. So yeah.
And with those words, ladies and gentlemen, thrive, not just survive. We wrap up episode 63 of Unmuted.
Yay!
Dude, that was a lot of fun.
You know something? 6 + 3 is 9.
Okay.
It's just shit. Forget it. I was just trying to like get it to 6, 6, 6, and then do like 6 + 3, 9. Turn it around, and then you have another.
Oh,
6.
that's a stretch, though.
But
That's a
forget it,
stretch.
yes. Shit, man. No wonder I'm not a stand-up comedian.
Well, at least you're good at math. Because it took, even when you said 6 + 3 is 9, I was like, wait, is it?
Brilliant, man. Thank you so much for having me. It was good fun.
Thank you for being here, man.
Yeah.
And if you can, do the honors. Just say hit the outro whenever you're ready.
Hit the outro.